What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk, a special edition live from Buffalo, the Airbnb, the game that may never be played. Usually we record on Mondays, we post shows on Mondays. The game's canceled or postponed at least until Monday, maybe canceled, may never be played. So we had to say, hey, we're jumping on Sunday. We're giving you guys a special weather breakdown here from the city of Buffalo, explain to you everything that's going on, give you some insight on the game if we ever expect it to be played and how it changes things for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Buffalo Bills, and everything going on with the postponement and the absolute insanity here in the city of Buffalo. Steven, we're 24 hours deep in this snowstorm. It may never end. How you feeling, my friend?
I feel like we've been in Buffalo forever, man. Like we left Pittsburgh about 7 a.m. yesterday, and yeah, it's only been 27 hours we've been in this city, but it's been a long 27 hours. It's fun though. I love Buffalo. Like I think this place is, I don't know, it's weird. Like you walk outside and it's just snow and no one else is like walking around. But I think once you like find a place where other Buffalo people are, like we did last night, it's a pretty good time here.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to the bars that stayed open when seemingly nothing else was. All we found walking around Buffalo last night was a bar that was pretty bumping, and especially after they decided that the Buffalo Sabres were not as important as playoff football, so shout out them. They closed down. We found another bar that was like, hey, we'll stay open as long as people are coming here. We're like, all right, well, we're coming there, so please stay open. Shout out to them. And then obviously the convenience store that was also open. I don't think they're ever going to shut down. That guy was like, I'll sleep here if I have to. Right. Who sold us beer to make sure that we could get through the second game. Shout out to everybody. We're surviving out here in Buffalo. I will say I do love this city. I think I'd love it a little bit more if there weren't 1.5 feet of snow on the ground, and maybe more to come. We're going to dive into the postponement, obviously, and what it means for the Pittsburgh Steelers and what we expect to happen over the next 24 hours, because it is no guarantee that game is played on Monday. But first, we're here in Buffalo. We figured, hey, we're going to go outside. We're going to toss our boots on. We're going to give you guys a live weather update from the city itself. Yeah, so as you can tell, it is still awful out here. That is the first snowplow I've seen, and I won't lie to you. I think that's the only thing that could get rid of the snow here in Buffalo. We don't have a measuring tape. You can see the truck. Check out the truck. Accumulation is ridiculous. We brought a water bottle. This is it. Ready? About a full bottle deep here. Wind is calmed down, which is a good thing. Overall, still terrible. Glad I didn't bring boots. Very thankful for that one. Don't know if we'll ever get out of here, but for right now, at least it stopped being windy. Over the next 24 hours or so, there's supposed to be another foot of snow on the ground, maybe 2-3 inches. Tomorrow, maybe another 2 or 3 inches. Winds still upwards of 40-50 miles per hour. The game right now is scheduled for 4:30 on Monday. We're going to dive into the conspiracy theories, everything about it. But first, I want to ask you, you think that the game played tomorrow? You optimistic? You worried? What's your thoughts here as we sit almost 24 hours away from the game?
Yeah, I'm optimistic, and I think it's maybe a little bit more wishful thinking than anything else because, I mean, if they don't play tomorrow, then when are they going to play? You know?
Like, they're here all week.
Right, you can throw Tuesday into the mix, and I guess you could push a game for whoever wins back to Monday, but, like, even then you keep adding on days of rest or rust for the Ravens too. Like, there'll be complaints all around, and I know that's kind of unavoidable in a situation like this, but I don't think the NFL is gonna keep pushing this off for much longer because, man, this is we're deep in it, and I mean, yes. Like that's the other thing. Like, it's not gonna stop snowing in Buffalo until like Friday. So, I mean, if we're waiting out the storm, if we're waiting for the snow to stop, we're gonna be here a long time.
Yeah, 100%. I'm hoping that it's tomorrow. My plans today are to shovel the truck out, make sure that we're ready to go. So, I mean, at bare minimum, we could at least attempt to get to Orchard Park, which I'm not. I got to say two things here. So, City of Buffalo, awesome. Really enjoy it. I think I'm falling in love. I texted my siblings last night. I was like, hey, guys, it might be the random Buffalo beers that people are handing me, but I kind of love the City of Buffalo. That being said, everybody said all week long, oh, it's Buffalo. They'll be able to, they'll have the roads taken care of. There's no worries. They know how to plow. Maybe I've missed it. I haven't seen a single snowplow in 24 hours since we've been here. I haven't seen one salt truck. I haven't seen one road that has been taken care of. They're just like, yeah, whatever, man. Just sit on it. And everybody, and I'm talking everybody, it doesn't matter if you're in a Corolla or a dump truck, you are driving 35 miles an hour in the snow around turns, zero caution. It's like a normal day here for regular Buffalonians. They're just like, hey, you know what? We got places to be. We're going to get there normal amount of time. Wild city. There's some conspiracy going around. Steelers had the snow advantage. Some would say shut down Josh Allen, Buffalo's biggest threat. They get to run the football. Advantage Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they're saying, well, they changed the game because the governor of New York, big Buffalo Bills fan, was talking smack earlier in the week. She wanted the advantage to go away. You fall for that? You believe that, maybe the city was like, hey, look, we can't play a game. Unfortunately, people can't get here. We're shutting down Erie because we need Josh Allen to be able to play a full game on Monday afternoon.
Well, as someone who grew up a Patriots fan, I'm all for some gamesmanship. I think that's, perfectly within bounds. Shout out Bill Belichick. But no, like I said, the snow's not going to stop for the rest of the week. The wind's not dying down anytime soon. Pushing this game back doesn't give anyone an advantage. It's not like the weather's going to suddenly get a lot better by Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or anything like that. So, no, I don't really buy into that. I thought it was kind of funny seeing that video of, that's what I'd do if I was the governor of New York. That's what I would 100% do the same thing. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, no, I don't think there's any conspiracy here. And I don't think, look, the other thing about you think about the Steelers run through the end of the season, and a big part of what they were able to do was also Mason Rudolph throwing the ball down the field. The idea that, better weather would only help the Buffalo Bills is just not true. The Steelers would benefit from it as well. So, we can all be grateful for it. We can all hope for some better weather. But also, it's not going to get any better. So
it's not going to. It was. We were driving in yesterday, and we said it as soon as we hit the city. The whole drive, everybody was like, "Oh, you got to leave at this time. You got to make sure because once you get to Erie, things are going to be awful." All right, whole drive, totally fine. No worries. Even the wind wasn't as nearly as bad as everybody was saying it is. You literally take the exit. You go around this big turn to take the exit into the city of Buffalo, and it was like. It was like you entered the North Pole. It went from zero snow, zero wind, zero anything to a complete blizzard. Roads are covered. Wind is pushing you off the road in a matter of half a second. So I don't think that goes away. I'm pretty convinced that this is just what Buffalo is for 4 months out of the year. I think whenever we do decide to leave, whenever we're like, all right, we're going to pack up, we're going to head back to Pittsburgh, whether the game is played or not, we're just going to have to get out of the city. It's just once you leave, it's like, oh, okay, this is normal. Life is totally fine outside of here. You're 100% right on the conspiracy theory. I do not. Maybe to some degree, there are some people in Buffalo who are like, hell yeah, this is what we want. Definitely. But I also think that a lot of Buffalo fans, I keep calling them Buffalonians, Buffalo fans, the governor, who cares, is like, hey, we wanted the snow game too, because I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to be able to hold up and how bad the weather is out here, and we're pretty used to it. But just to be, more realistic about the situation, the Steelers have not left for Buffalo yet. There are no flights coming into the city right now. There are no flights leaving the city right now. So the Steelers can't even get here. So they weren't going to fly in last night in the middle of an absolute. We were sitting at a bar last night, right when at the time the Steelers were supposed to land in Buffalo, and you looked outside, you couldn't see outside. It was just complete whiteout winds, 40, 50 miles per hour. You're not flying to the city of Buffalo. I'm still not convinced they're going to be able to fly to the city of Buffalo today, but I'm not sitting around saying, hey, this is a conspiracy theory and, the city of Buffalo did this on purpose. For those people who say hey, I want a snow game. Oh, this is ridiculous. Play in the snow. I agree with that one. The second that everybody could get there safe, the second that the Steelers could land in Buffalo, did a snowplow just go by?
Some massive truck just did. I'm pretty sure. I
can't
see the. There we
First
go.
one in 24 hours that we've seen a snowplow here in Buffalo. Shout out. They're trying. I saw somebody shoveling their driveway earlier this morning, and about 10 minutes afterwards, just a big giant gust of snow comes running down. And I went, man, dude, I'm so sorry. That's going to happen to you all day. But I don't fall for the conspiracy theory. I don't think that it's a real thing. For everybody saying we want a snow game, I agree. The second that everybody's able to drive and get there and fly and arrive at the stadium safely, I'm all for it, because I want a foot of snow on the ground when everybody actually plays football.
Right. And you got to keep in mind, I mean, this is a city that had a pretty severe blizzard last year, maybe around this time or a little bit before, and didn't go well. People died. Like, it was serious. They're taking this seriously up here. So there's no, there's no, ulterior motive to, especially, like, no one's considering football in the, like, I get it. Like, people in Pittsburgh, that's all we're thinking about. That's all we've been thinking about for the past week, but there's some bigger fish to fry up here as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that also, like, the fact that mentally Steelers fans have been preparing for this snowstorm for a week. Like, this is normal. This is everyday life for people in Buffalo and people in New York. Everybody from Pittsburgh has been mentally gearing up for this for so long that they're like, no. I was ready. I was ready to go into this. Like, no matter what was going to happen, no matter how bad the weather was going to get, I was going to make it to Buffalo. I think that has definitely played a role. Guys, we have gear. New merchandise from AST to Mooth, Bleed Black and Gold, Kenny to George, and plenty of others now at our new website, blackandgoldapparel.com. And the coolest part, 50% of all profits at our store go to UPMC Children's Hospital here in Pittsburgh to make sure that we are giving back. We can't thank you guys enough, and we want to show you guys how thankful and how grateful we are for everything by making sure that we do our part to make the community here in Pittsburgh better. Go check out everything. We tried to make everything new and improved, from our designs to our quality of sweatshirts and t-shirts and everything else. Let us know and check everything out at blackandgoldapparel.com. And as always, thank you guys for everything. Now, when it comes to the actual game, still, as of right now, set to be played on Monday, could be moved to Tuesday, or, whatever NFL gods you pray to. We're looking for Monday. We're hoping for Monday. The goal is to get back to Pittsburgh before the next playoff game. That is our goal. The spread has changed from 10 to 9.5, still expected to be a blowout. The over-under went from 32.5 to 37.5 in a matter of an hour as soon as they changed the game time, obviously expecting less snow, better conditions. Do you look at this as a disadvantage for the Steelers now? A change of do you have any change on your belief and your prediction? I believe you picked the Steelers to win against Buffalo in this one. Does any of that change for you right now?
Not really. No. I mean, like I said, the conditions are going to be mostly the same. And I still think kind of the same logic applies. I mean, and I think, like, honestly, the rest, like, helps the Steelers a lot too. Like, yes. I don't think, giving everybody, because this has been a banged up team for a long time. And even though that injury report did look encouraging heading into the weekend, I don't think a couple extra days of rest for some of those banged up guys is very hurtful either. So, no, nothing. I mean, I don't really change my opinion about this game until, I see something that says the weather conditions are going to change dramatically. If nothing else, I'm just more confident that under is going to hit. I'm more confident in my score prediction being somewhat similar. So I guess that'd be my only change.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm still expecting a snow game. I'm still expecting terrible weather, even if it's a little bit better weather. And when it comes to the rest, like, my only worry is that the Steelers have started slow most of the season, but they haven't started slow with Mason Rudolph. So I'm hoping that is somewhat a thing of the past. If they can overcome that, you're running what, 8 days? 8 days of rest from your last game. That's huge for guys like Isaac Seumalo, who's dealing with a shoulder injury, Najee Harris, who's dealing with a knee injury, Minka, who's trying to return from a knee injury, Landon Roberts with his pec. Like, a team that is getting healthy and was going to push through injuries now gets another extra day to prepare and rest and get here. And I think that does help tremendously. I also think that 60 mile per hour and 50 mile per hour gusts are probably the same thing. But if there's any chance that is much lower and that the wind actually somewhat goes away, you're looking at much better conditions for these guys to not get so beat up in, not to, when you're that cold, everybody watched Patrick Mahomes' helmet break last night. When it's that cold outside and the wind is that bad, it makes everything so much worse. The pain's so much worse. The hits are so much harder. I think that definitely helps them. Yeah, I'm sticking with the same score, same belief the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to pull this one off. And honestly, I honestly think the rest helps. Like, I think the extra day, I think Buffalo is going to start looking at this like, oh, everybody's going to have the same thought. This is an advantage for the Bills. This is an advantage for the Bills. You overlook the Pittsburgh Steelers a little bit, a team that isn't going to look at this as an advantage for the Bills. I think that that certainly works in their power. Final one for you here before we head out. You got a time prediction, you got a game prediction on when this thing's getting played and if it's ever going to get played.
Yeah, I'll stick with Monday at 4:30. I feel like they are. I mean, at a certain point, like, you just got to play. Like, I don't think they're going to push it back to Tuesday. I feel like that's a little bit too much, even for the NFL. Like, I think everyone's going to look at the weather for the rest of the week and be like, well, we're gonna have to muddle through this at some point, and pushing it back a day really doesn't end up helping anyone. So I'm gonna stick with Monday 4:30. Maybe that's a little naive, but I'm sticking with it. How about you?
I'm gonna go Monday at 4:30 just as a leap of faith here. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna say I'm much less optimistic about the situation. And I wasn't, we didn't see it coming at all. We sat down. We arrived in Buffalo, went to breakfast, came home, sat down. We were in the Airbnb for about 25 minutes. And you're like, oh my God, dude, they changed the game. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know. Didn't see the first one coming, no matter how bad it was. So I can't say that I'm going to see the second one coming. But I think the fact that people are like trying to overplay it and say, hey, look, it's still going to be just as bad. I think at some point, all snowstorms you get control of, and the initial burst is 10 times worse than everything that comes after that. So as long as the wind could kind of calm down and they could get things situated over by Orchard Park, which is the landing spot for all this, so I'd imagine it's 10 times worse than what's behind me. I'm going to say Monday, 4:30. We'll see what happens. For everybody who's wondering if we're going to have a show tomorrow, we're going to push it back to Tuesday. If the game's played on Tuesday, we might push it back to Wednesday, do another emergency podcast on Tuesday morning to kind of lay out what's going on and how we may never leave the city of Buffalo or this Airbnb, which is a beautiful Airbnb. So shout out to, I think the guy's name is Jack. Shout out to Jack holding it down for us. We'll push the pod back to Tuesday, recap the game, give you guys everything that goes on here from Buffalo. In the meantime, our Twitters, our YouTube page, our Instagram, that's where you'll find all the updates. That's where you'll find all the videos of what's going on here in the city of snow and all these Buffalonians. Until then, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/allsteelerstalk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast. And, of course, find all of our work at allsteelers.com and our pit coverage at insidethepanthers.com. Hopefully it's much less snowy where you guys are, but either way, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.